Good afternoon and good evening. Very nice to see you all once again. Always a pleasure. Just a quick reminder, this is one of our last Monday webinars that will be open to the public. Starting at the end of this month or the start of next month, the Monday webinars will require a membership level. So good to see you guys all here. I'm going to have more details about a Monday webinar membership and some of those things coming out. Mel, you're good, and anybody that currently has a membership to Day Traders FX will be able to continue to attend the Monday webinars. But those that do not, I will have a special membership offer for those looking to just attend the Monday webinars. But I want to make sure that everyone is getting a good bang for their buck, and I want to make sure that these Monday webinars are followed up throughout the week so that you can make sure that you're following these trades and that everything's being updated and that you're remembering the entries to take and all of that stuff. So it's going to be a pretty cool little deal, pretty cool little plan. Again, for anybody that already has any level of membership with me currently, you'll be able to continue to attend these Monday webinars. Okay, let's get down to the details. I hope everybody had a super fantastic weekend. Let's get talking about some of these setups that we have. So remember, this is Day Traders FX. You can get a free trial to the trade group. I always like to remind everybody on Monday because you can get a whole week of free trading and check us out and see what you think by going to that link right there. So keep that in mind. We'd love to have you this week. Free trial. There's no hassle. You don't have to worry about giving me some sort of explanation if you get a free trial. You decide you hate it and you hate me or something like that. So there's no hassle, no problem. Just stop by and see us, see what you think. Okay, so news has been going kind of crazy. We had a pretty flat day in stocks, but oil continues to slip. Oil is at a nice 12-year low, $31.30 currently. Boom! In California, gas prices are down at a 6-day low. No, I don't know. It's definitely not. It's definitely not affecting the pump here in California. I took a little weekend trip in my motorhome, which takes diesel, and I practically didn't have to pay for gas outside of the state of California. Inside, kind of a different story. Yeah, Simon, oil is basically going to be free. It's going to be like buy one barrel, get one free or something. Like it's just, there's never been a better time to buy. Take this coupon, free oil Fridays. I don't know. Something's going to happen because it's getting pretty far down there. So, yeah. So good stuff happening there. As far as news goes this week, we don't have a lot of heavy news, but I'm pretty darn interested in a lot of pound pairs, GBP pairs. And that's interesting because this week we happen to have UK interest rate news, which fortunately it's not until 4 o'clock in the morning my time. So, I mean, I practically get a sleep in before this news hits. So we'll have a live session for that. All membership levels will be able to attend, and we'll see what happens with this UK interest rate news on Thursday. And I think it's going to be pretty important. I think it's going to be pretty big because we've got some really, really excellent pound setups that I want to talk about. Tuesday, we've got some decent news on Tuesday. We'll keep an eye on everything there. Wednesday, we have Australian employment numbers, and we'll probably do a live session on Wednesday for Australian employment numbers because there's some pretty interesting Aussie setups as well. And then Friday, we've got a couple of retail sales numbers and so on. Nothing too terribly crazy on Friday. So that's kind of the scoop-a-rooney there. Okay, let's just run down the list of a couple of setups and things that I am currently interested in. As I mentioned, I'm super interested in pound pairs. I'm still very interested in yen pairs. Every time I pull up the news on Sunday night as the markets are opening and I see that the Chinese stock market's down a ton, I think to myself, it's going to be another big week in trading, and that's how the week started so far. So just a quick eye on euro dollar. The euro dollar is getting choppy, so we've got to be careful with the euro dollar. It's getting choppy, but I still love it, and I'm still going to trade the heck out of it, and I really hope you guys are going to be along for the ride. Euro dollar is still kind of doing this interesting little situation right here. I am looking for the euro dollar to continue to head down. I know some traders that are long euro dollar right now, And I can't say that they're totally wrong, and I can't say that I'm totally right. In fact, I don't think anybody can say any of that stuff, because who knows. But I feel pretty strongly about some of the reasons why I want to be short euro dollar, and that's particularly because as we've got this channel, this is about a month-long channel, there's still reason to believe that the US dollar will continue to rally, that the euro will continue to be somewhat weak. And this channel right here that you can see that's gone over the last month or so has been containing the euro fairly well. So last 4 or 5 weeks we've just had these swings up and down, big dip down, and it's running off the top of that channel. This is about the 109.50 area, and it's just been holding and bouncing, holding and bouncing, holding and bouncing. And I still want to be short basically below 109.100, 109.50. I still like that. I think it's a good trade. And I'm going to have some more specific entries for group members as the week goes on, as the day goes on, and as the week goes on. But I do want to see if we can get a little bit of a rise here, and then some breakouts and some movement back down on euro. So we've had a pretty decent little, medium-term downtrend here. You can see on some of these smaller time frames, it just has dipped down and it continues up. Now we still do have this interesting little bull flag that has kind of held, but we've had, I think, too much retracement right here. We'll see how it plays out. If it starts making much of a run above about 109.50, then it could be headed to the upside. So above 109.50 and definitely at around 110, we want to be looking to be long euro dollar at that point. This seems like it would be a good one to buy the dips. I just don't agree with that yet, and that might change as the week goes on, but I don't agree, or I don't think that it's a safe bet to buy the dips on euro dollar yet. I'd rather sell rallies with some nice little topping patterns, some breakouts, some continuations back down. So euro dollar looks good. We want to be short below about 109.100/109.50 for euro dollar. Okay, so that's what we're looking at in euro dollar. I'm not doing anything on pound dollar yet because, again, some of the news that we have coming up, and I just haven't seen anything amazing to trade on pound dollar for a little while. But one thing that we do absolutely have is if you look at the pound dollar here, and actually it's even better on the monthly chart, the pound dollar is down at multi-year lows, and it could very well continue below this, but I have a sneaking suspicion that it's not going to. Currencies, no matter some of the things that can happen, they just tend to play in these ranges. Now, we had a lot of momentum on this move down here when it touched about 135.00, which was a big time low that we haven't seen in a long time. And there's a big double bottom there. It hit it in about 2001, and then it hit it again in about 2008. And then it's just not really gone too much below the mid to low 140s since about this 2008-9 kind of low right there. And here we are once again back down into that into those mid 140s. And so what I think is probably going to happen is we're going to start to see some bottoming out patterns, and we're probably going to see some opportunities to buy some dips on pound dollar, which I'll keep an eye on. But I don't think I'm going to do anything until the Bank of England and interest rate news, which will happen on Thursday. I'll be keeping an eye on a couple of things, but I think that one's good to wait for just a bit longer. A couple of things to talk about here. Dollar Canadian, just continues higher. It's stretching our indicator beyond belief, but we still just haven't had much of a bearish pattern to get in yet. It dips a little bit and then it just continues higher. So that's why price patterns are so important, and we'll keep an eye on this, and we'll be looking for opportunities to buy dips or sell rallies. But I'm not super into dollar CAD or for much of this week. But Euro CAD is getting kind of interesting. Look what we have on EuroCAD here. We basically have a perfect triple top at about 155.50. And this is a monthly chart. This takes us all the way back to some of these levels in 2009. So for the last several years, everyone should be seeing a theme by about now, which is a lot of currency pairs are at 2007, 8, 9 levels, right around there. And they're, these are areas where we start to see things bouncing, and we start to see things reversing, and we start to see some of that happening. We're going to be aware of it. We're going to keep our eye on it. But here we are up at 155.50, bouncing off that level, and we'll see where this goes. I'm going to keep my eyes definitely on the EuroCAD this this week, and we'll see how it plays out and where it goes. But that's a great level, great area. And likewise, if this starts pushing above 155.50, I'll be trading that for sure up into some of these bigger upper levels. This one's not at a super extreme like many others, but it is at a multi-year high. And so that's worth keeping an eye on. So let's watch 155.50 on Euro CAD. Not much interest in New Zealand dollar, Aussie New Zealand pairs yet, but I will be looking at some Aussie pairs as we get into the Aussie employment numbers on Wednesday. So we're going to talk about that in the group. Yen pairs are starting to look pretty good. Here is a dollar yen situation. Remember, the dollar yen has had this really fantastic head and shoulders pattern on the weekly chart. Now, unless we see some major dollar weakness, which I don't know if we're going to see that as soon as I might like, I want to be short dollar yen, but I think there's better yen pairs to short than dollar yen right now. But the dollar yen did a very interesting thing where it ran down to this neckline right here. It's hit it a couple of times. It established it right here, and it dipped down right here, and it's dipped here, and it's established this nice little neckline / support area. And that big run down towards the end of last week and start of this week, it ran down, hit that trend line, that support, that neckline, and it has bounced up off of it. And so it gives us a pretty clear area to watch for the dollar yen. Here's the two things I'm going to be looking for here. Nice little move down from this right shoulder. I'm going to be watching for some retracement. I've put a simple trend line, or excuse me, a Fibonacci level in here. And if this starts to pull back to some of these fib levels, then I'm going to be looking for opportunities to short the dollar yen from some of those fib levels, from like the 38 and even the 50, which take us up to 119 and 120 area. We're at about 117.50. So I'm going to be looking for opportunities to short dollar yen, anywhere from 200 pips higher, give or take, and beyond. That's kind of where I am right now. However, if the dollar yen doesn't retrace much and just totally goes flat and consolidates, then I'm going to be short this pair right around 116.50. Take care, Rudolph. Nice to have you. So around 116.50 is where I'll be looking to get short. I want to just I want to trade the break of this and trade the break of this low. That's going to take us through a major support level. That's going to take us through a super important area and hopefully open this up for anywhere 800 to 1,000 pips worth of downside movement. Remember, we've got a pretty big head and shoulders pattern here, and if this breaks through that, that would take us perfectly into that 200 moving average. But we're going to need to see a lot of dollar weakness. So if we do see dollar weakness, the dollar yen is going to be a great one to trade, as well as pound dollar for dollar weakness. So just a reminder, dollar weakness will be dollar yen, and pound dollar will be my ideal trades, because that should drag this dollar yen right on down to that 116.50 and through it. I like the Aussie yen, but it's run a little bit far now. We made some money on it, a couple hundred pips, and I want to see if this can pull back a little bit. So that's not high on the list. Pound yen, I want to see if this can pull back a little bit as well, and I think this is going to be a nice little trade. If that pulls back, we've come just shy of the 200 moving average, but it's come down into a lot of support here. So I'm going to watch this, see if we can get some retracement into some of these fib levels, from this high. That would put us up about 200 to 300 pips. From there, I'd be thinking about shorting pound yen and kind of taking it from there. There's going to be a more near-term trade, and if you guys can guess what this is, for group members, there's going to be a nice little trendline breakout trade coming later on this evening. So I'm going to be looking for that, and I think there will be an easy 50 to 100 pips on pound yen with that trade coming. So but longer term, 200 to 300 pips of retracement and then a movement on down is what I'll be looking for on pound yen. But I do like the New Zealand yen quite a bit, and I think the New Zealand yen is a very good bet for some nice movement down. New Zealand yen is not, we're not really in super historic lows or anything. In fact, we're kind of in the upper region of where the New Zealand yen has been playing around for some time. So we have these lows all the way back here at 44. I mean, I was definitely trading then, and I must have not been looking at New Zealand yen, because down at 44.20 is kind of a ridiculous level. But we've got a lot of room to go on New Zealand yen. So what I'm going to be looking for here on this pair is some retracement. Again, some Fibonacci levels. I'd like to see this one run up, hit some weekly pivots, get into this kind of 78, 50, 7900 area, and then look for an opportunity to short it from there. 78, 50, 7900, and take this down into 72, 73. I think there's a fairly reasonably easy-ish couple hundred pips short on New Zealand yen. So any movement up, I'm going to be looking for opportunities to short that, especially above 7,800. So we're only at 7,700, so no, we're not too far away. So above 7,800, I want to be shorting this and trading it down into the low 70s. I think that's going to be great. Okay, pound yen. I like pound yen. We're going to have a shorter term trade for group members on that coming later on this evening. Here's a couple. This is where I'm starting to talk about pound pairs getting interesting. Pound weakness, and I want to trade the heck out of this thing. Look at the pound CAD. Canadian pairs are getting a little overextended. They're kind of ready for some turnaround. Pound CAD's at this double top of takes us back into 2007 levels. And so we're at this double top at about 209.50, and we're at about 206.75. It's a little under 300 pips away. But if it stays below this area, I want to be shorting this thing like crazy. Ideally, at the break of a trend line would be a nice move, kind of bringing that trend line in a little bit closer on some of these lower time frames. But likewise, if this starts to push above that high, there could be some nice upward activity there too if we see a lot of pound strength. So I like this big double top yearly high, 2015 high, and double topped it there, and that takes us all the way back to the highs of 2007. So 9-year level right here, which is pretty important and a nice trend line. So I'm going to be looking for opportunities to trade that bounce off that and a break, or just a break from that high. I think it's going to be a really nice little setup. That is pound CAD. Pound Swiss franc, kind of an interesting little situation here as well. Very nice resistance level. Let's do this. And the pound Swiss franc has got like this multi-year high taking us back to about 2011 or so, where it just keeps hitting against this 155.50 and coming off of it. And it's a good ways off of it right now, but it's broken this trend line. I'm going to watch for some retracement and possibly some opportunity to continue trading this down if we see more pound weakness. Euro pound. If we see pound weakness, I'm going to be looking to trade up into the 76.50 and potentially up into 78.50 on euro pound. This is bottoming out pretty well. We have a pretty kind of slaggy looking inverse head and shoulders pattern. But if that can hold, I think we're going to have some really great opportunities to buy some dips and trade this up into 76.50, 78.50, and even potentially beyond. So the euro pound will be a great one to trade with pound weakness. Pound dollar will be a good one to trade with, pound Swiss franc will be a good one to trade with pound weakness. Pound CAD will be a good one to trade with pound weakness. So there's some good stuff happening right there. So I like that euro pound a lot, and I'm going to keep an eye on that. So my big list this week to kind of just clarify with everybody and make sure that we're good on this is, here's what we're going to be looking to trade this week. We got euro, dollar, and I want to sell that pair. Pound dollar, I'd like to buy that pair. We've got euro CAD. Potentially, I'd like to sell that pair. We're looking for dollar yen, which I think could be a good sell. We've got New Zealand yen, which I think is going to be a fantastic sell. Euro, pound, I like this as a buy. And pound CAD, I like that as a sell. And pound Swiss franc, I like that as a sell as well. So we've got a lot of kind of great long-term potentials in the works this week, and I think there's going to be some big moves, especially with some of the pound news that we have coming up on Thursday. I know it's kind of late into the week, but we're going to watch that. We're going to trade the heck out of that, and we're going to do what we can on dollar yen, euro CAD, euro dollar, and New Zealand yen. As the week starts off, and pound yen as well, and then we're going to just be watching these other big setups, and I think we're going to get some big movements. So I'm hoping for 1,000 pips this week. We'll see how it goes and where it goes, but I think it's possible. We've definitely done that going into the end of the year, and I think we'll be able to do it again as kind of this party gets started. So for the beginning of the year, so that's what I'm looking for. I'm excited about these big moves. We've had a pretty volatile start of the year in equities, which translates into big movements in currencies, and I think there's just great opportunities. So I'm super excited about it, and I'm looking forward to all this. So I will keep you guys updated as best I can. Again, it's a great time to get a free trial to the trade group so you can follow through with some of these trades. And let's take it from there. Questions, comments, guys, send them over. Let's hear it. Primos has a question for us. Anybody else? Type them in, and I'll talk about them right now. Let me get this recording posted.